A foul and deviant family, Michelle Wilding, and her sons, Jack Wilding and Christopher Wilding, the Poulton Animal Torturers, who took pleasure from the suffering of 30 dogs intentionally confined under a dimly lit metal shed for several years, have avoided incarceration. Michelle Wilding and her sons, Jack Wilding and Christopher Wilding, were convicted of animal cruelty but received a suspended prison sentence during their appearance at Lancaster Magistrates Court on Tuesday, July 22. Over 30 dogs were tortured in a metal shed for years at their residence on Mains Lane. A neighbour, who requested anonymity, stated, "The incessant barking we endured for years was utterly dreadful." The council conducted a noise level assessment prior to the issuance of the warrant. Over 20 dogs were confiscated by the RSPCA after being rescued from deplorable conditions at the Wildings residence on Mains Lane, subsequent to a police raid in November 2023. The RSPCA sought a warrant following reports of purported cruelty at the property, and its welfare officers were reportedly appalled by the deplorable conditions in which the dogs were confined, characterized by prolonged exposure to darkness and floors saturated with urine and decaying feces. Both mother Michelle Wilding and son Christopher Wilding were sentenced to prison, however their sentences were suspended for 2 years. Michelle Wilding and Christopher Wilding received a 15-year prohibition on animal ownership, while their son Jack Wilding was subjected to a 10-year ban and imposed with a £270 fine. Ms. Michelle Wilding, disqualified from animal ownership for 15 years, with the possibility to petition for the revocation of the decision after 10 years. The RSPCA will assume custody of the animals not currently in its care. Sentenced to 27 weeks of imprisonment, with a suspension period of 24 months. Participate in a rehabilitation program for 20 days. Jack Wilding, disqualified from animal ownership for a duration of 10 years, with the possibility to petition for the revocation of the order after 7 years. The RSPCA will assume custody of the animals not currently in its care. Imposed a penalty of £270. Christopher Wilding, disqualified from animal ownership for 15 years, with the possibility to petition for the order's removal after 10 years. The RSPCA will assume custody of the animals not currently in its care. Sentenced to 12 weeks of imprisonment, suspended for 24 months.